Welcome to the stage, Sami Heinonen.
Thank you. Setting up my office here. And sorry for all these old school notes, I need them to make sure that I don't miss anything important. And I actually wrote some notes to myself in the plane that's saying that slow down, use videos, and no jokes. I'm trying to stick with that. Okay, where's the clear? Hard. What is next? Okay. I'm dancing. The presentation is huge. It's like gigabytes.
There's time for jokes.
Exactly. But I promised myself. Yeah, exactly. I heard this from the front row that I should do those jokes. But yeah, no space for jokes. Maybe later, maybe during the whole presentation, I realized that I'm the kind of a person that starts dropping those jokes here and there without my own knowledge. It just happens. Okay, that sounds like reboot.
Would any of you like to ask any questions on beforehand? Because we're going to talk about business cases here. So like, anyone interested in business particularly? We have any questions or something?
That's okay, that's happened.
I could probably ask you on beforehand about this secret agenda of mine, about the people. So like business cases and all the business opportunities. What do you think, what role does the people play when it comes to VR and developing the solutions?
It means everything, of course. I'll soon jump into that topic, so I'm not really in tough stuff there, but it always, when you talk about strategy and stuff, it always comes back to the people who are actually doing the whole business, the whole future of the companies and products. So it's very important.
That's how I see it as well. And like I had this questionnaire in Twitter before this event, and I asked people how they see what are the possibilities of VR when it comes to leadership, leading people, and
exactly.
So quite many people, they actually reacted and they said that definitely we have to have the people there first in the core before even we start developing anything, and like ask people's opinions.
And what I personally think is that the end users are the kind of major ones we should concentrate on their needs and how the new thing that's running on top of XR should be designed to fit their needs and purpose. Not like, I think we need this and that and then just deploy and do it, because then it will go wrong.
Way of doing
exactly,
it.
and having it more agile, that you take those end users kind of equal members of the design team from the very early phases of the design process, and then you iterate those prototypes and stuff, and then the end result is at least have better opportunities and possibilities to serve the real purpose, not like doing something in the black box that I think this right.
Yes, exactly, and having the conversation all the time, all the way through the development with the people.
Exactly.
Potential future customers.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So hopefully
there was
soon.
some flash or something there, so let's see if we're able to continue from there. But definitely let's get back to people also during the day, and like there's one question in the audience.
It's nice.
Yes.
Of course.
You think you can get rid of me?
Yeah.
No, just one.
while we are waiting things to keep working, because this is a natural thing in tech stuff.
Yeah.
How about, so can you share with us, no need names or anything like that, but the most satisfying / enjoyable business case and most challenging one?
Okay, I can pick one. And okay, hey, that's kind of briefly. It's there. I will say one is there. So this is the one I was about to talk about.
Okay, it says we're ready to start.
Yeah, and where's my clicker?
There you go, Sami.
So let's try. I guess this is the next button. It doesn't say a thing about. You switch the slide. Sorry. So okay. Sorry about this whole hassle. So my name is Sami Heinonen. I'm from the company called Zoan. I do talking about these things, but I also do stuff. So I'm kind of a full stack dude from that point of view. And for some reason, I tend to get involved with all R&D stuff, what happens in our company and across the whole field. Is it safe to press this one? Yes. So the whole point of this is get you inspired. And I go through the examples, what we've done, how they are creating value, and then telling the kind of real beef of the whole talk, then what's the magic, and then some future trends. And the company itself is 10 years old actually. It was founded by Mika Rosendahl in Brazil actually. Once he was having his kind of a time out there, and he realized that Brazil is full of very talented 3D artists. So he set up the business actually there, but like 5 years ago he moved the business here in Helsinki. We have offices all around the world. The latest one is actually currently in Tokyo. We're setting that up. Sorry that I'm staring at this, but that's a kind of bad habit. Kind of portfolio is currently, as you can see, it's pretty much Finnish business, Finnish companies. We are currently pushing hard and successfully to international markets to gain new customers around the globe, and that's happening, and that's very nice. There are no two similar kind of cases. What's flowing in, they're all unique and their unique needs. Let's try to play this video. What happens if I click? Okay, let's put full screen. I'm shut. Yeah. Okay. So the whole point of this whole talk is to get you inspired. What's the agenda? I was very delighted that almost every talk was somehow related to value Extra is creating. And what I'm like underlining that a lot is that like back in the days we are used to be kind of just a kind of a marketing gimmick. So now I like talking here that how it actually creates value. And I know most of you are professionals related from this industry, but briefly, the whole kind of acronym stuff. So the real reality is this reality we're seeing here. And this kind of spectrum was created at Google a couple of years back, that the more you put computer-generated stuff all around you, it gets towards the virtual reality that is like a most right-hand side stuff here. And everything between those two is sort of augmented or mixed reality. And to me, personally, how you make the difference between AR and MR is that AR is like doing Pokemon Go with your phone. And mixed reality is that you take one of those XR1 Varios headsets and you put that on. And then that's mixed reality. To me, I don't know, there are so many different ways to describe, but this is how it's to me. And then if you're like puzzled and confused, what are all of these acronyms, you can always use the extended reality XR stuff here. So that covers all realities. Hardware, it's been like already like, let's say, a year or a year and a half, it's been like mature enough to fulfill everybody's needs. It's getting cheaper, lighter, faster. It's getting a very high quality like Vario. I'm talking about Vario a lot today because it's a very good example of a high-end product. And of course we have tons of different smartphones bringing those AI cores and AR kits for B2B use and B2C use in masses. That's like if you want to reach huge audience, you go AR on phones. And the XR business itself and the whole buzz about it is more mature than it used to be 3 years ago. I was actually talking about the same stuff like a couple years back in assembly, and it was like at time it was like collapsed. It was kind of a dot-com bubble that burst in 2000 that they big expectations didn't pay out, and then it was like going down. But now it's like recent years it's been like growing healthy way, and currently it's like what are the next Googles, what are the next Facebooks and Amazons, and what is going to be the next thing. And the VRN2020, they publish this kind of a paper annually that has some insights from the big manufacturers like HTC and Intel, Nvidia, and also the business using those. And in their survey, this is from September 2019. Yeah, in VR57 and AR44%, they say that it had very positive impact on their businesses. And it was from 36 to 44 said that it had some impact on their businesses. And for my surprise, only 7% to 12 said that it had none or little impact. So businesses are utilizing XR a lot currently, and it's creating value. And if you think about the kind of it's creating value. What next? What we should do? And then you start thinking that what is that something? And I can tell you that even us, like persons who are working daily basis with this XR business, we're like only now until like starting to realize that what is possible to do with XR. And it's like a open space, everything is possible. The opportunities, it's an infinite amount of different ideas you can do. And once you face this kind of wide spectrum of things you can do, or like infinity, how you deal with that kind of situation is you start to focus what's relevant for you and your needs. And you don't necessarily think about all the possibilities, but you start thinking that way, that what's my challenge. And you shouldn't think XR as a kind of a standalone thing. It should be merged with the machine learning, big data, and IoT and 5G networks. And that way it starts playing together with these all enablers, and then it starts creating value, but itself it's nothing. I have some examples from our portfolio, but also from all around the world, and of course from Vario. And first one is education. I don't know if you have watched Ted Milk's talk in TED Talk, and he said that the VR is kind of an ultimate empathy machine, meaning that you can take persons from this reality and take them somewhere in a refugee camp, and then that experience will affect on you very heavily, and then you learn or remember something. The same applies with the education, that you can actually help kids and students to learn more effectively if you take the software to do stuff and experience stuff. And this image is from our current production. We are doing Antarctica kind of experience where you can see what is greenhouse effect and how you can affect on that with your everyday basis habits. And training itself, we define it kind of a little bit different from education. Training is for professionals doing their everyday job. And this one is the value here is that Finnair, they need to keep those planes up in the air all the time. And if the plane is on the ground, it doesn't actually produce money. For that reason, the time is very limited at the ground. And what we did was that we created a digital twin of the Airbus. And those groups of people, they can start training all that stuff when they need to go inside that. And so they can relieve that aircraft to the fleet, so money savings there. Early days of the VR, most of those experiences, they used to be kind of static. So there wasn't that much of a data flowing in, so they were kind of static experiences. And for this architecture, engineering, and constructs, we created for the Connect this kind of simulation where we can see how the people flow is going inside new building, and creating those plans for elevators based on that data. And you can use VR headsets for data capture. They are huge. They're capable of capturing lots of data. For example, as Kim told about the eyesight, you can also like try to move it, and where he or she is watching at the create heat maps based on that. And then maybe based on that data, you can change your grocery store setup that people will notice and buy that stuff better. Okay, so this is actually like a picture, but I asked permission for this use. Undoubtedly the healthcare is one of the major business areas that are hoping and gaining value from XR. For example, this project from Helsinki that we have played together a lot. They have this train surgeon thing. Not actually talking a lot about that because Kim perfectly taught you guys about that. And also for the older people or disabled people who can't travel and they would like to visit their old childhood neighborhoods. This is a way how you can get adults or old people somewhere and get like mentally healed and travel, not just like sitting inside some facility or hospital. And also if you think about CPR training, instead of just like pushing the door there inside of the meeting room and drinking coffee at the same time, this nice. What if we take you to the highway and it's raining and trucks are passing by and all that like noise and water and dark, and then you create a kind of situation, there's some accident, that somebody's screaming there. Then you know how the training kicks in, how you react in that kind of situation. So it's very effective. For the manufacturing, what I've seen, most of them being like a smart class-based solutions that they not necessarily kind of a real AR that I can spawn some 3D object here waving at me, but instead having, for example, some instructions here while I'm like doing something in some factory or something. And another way is to somebody's viewing from my headset a video stream other side of the world, and he can direct me. For example, with HoloLens, he overseas can actually draw like underline or circle around this bubble that, hey, you need to turn that. Okay, I'll turn. So that's one way. Automotive, again, Vario. Thanks a lot, Vario, for creating these great examples. For the product design and testing and safety design, XR plays a role. For example, in this case, Volvo and Vario, they created this kind of setup where you can do the safety design and development. For example, they had this real Volvo, and the driver had this XR1 mounted on, and it wasn't fake, it was real. And then they project moves on the hardware, and it's not only reflected to your eyes, it's also kind of injected into the car's sensors, that the car will sensor that moves also. And then you can collect the data that how this cooperation with humans and car computers play together, and based on that data you can then enhance the safety of the car. That based on that data you can actually change the code and make it safer. For the marketing, together with Finkino and their partners, we have this kind of a 4-stage cubicle at the Finkino Theater, and it's running our Siljalan experience, where you can go to archipelago of Finland and then see stuff related to the story and that kind of stuff. And it was there right next to the movie theater, and the kind of conversion rate of that was 7.5%. So out of all moviegoers, 7.5% visited that experience. So it's working a lot, but you have to take it to the side and provide the access to the XR. So for the filming industry, the virtual production and using these XR tools for filmmaking, it's coming fast. We are using this Unreal Engine for all our productions, and they are like investing a lot. Oops, that's the wrong slide. Yeah. The story can be linear, that it's static, but you can also have a dynamic story that affects on people's choices. And this one is we're creating this kind of a story of Battle of Svenskshult, Ruotsin Salmen battle from 1790. It was and still is kind of the largest naval battle ever seen in Baltic Sea. And we're creating this for the Maritime Museum Velo in Turku. And it will be kind of a spherical screen where it will be projected, so you don't have to wear any kind of a headset. Maybe we show a clip of that, if I may ask you, please. There's no sound, by the way. No worries about the sound. It's in production, as you can see. Those ropes and stuff is very static, so it's not finished. It's somewhere halfway there. Yeah, so it's in production. It's summer, I can't remember, was it this summer or something? Fine. Okay. Helsinki. Travel. Next. I got pushed. So, City of Helsinki has kind of a philosophy of virtual travel, and we're helping them. We have created this kind of virtual Helsinki that has the center of Helsinki model with very high quality. And in addition to people visiting Helsinki, they want people all around the world to visit virtual Helsinki. And that's just, but can be for sustainable reasons that somebody wants to avoid, like flying for the CO2 emissions, or there is a global crisis ongoing like this current one we have here, or people are disabled or other ways inhibited to visit Helsinki physically. So it's sort of like democratizing travel, so anyone can visit. If you do product information, enhanced the products with the tips and tricks and receipts, how you can cook your stuff with this milk or something, or cream, you can embed some retention programs or do some gamification. You will gain value with the AR. Briefly about these sports. There's tons of data nowadays collected from the sports events, and this case is from Gage HL and Liga here in Finland. This is a company called as Vice Hockey. They have all those players on ice, they have tags, so they can actually measure where the players are currently on ice, and based on that they can have all the data, who's performing best in this game. So that can be projected from your phone when you're watching the game there at site or home or whatever. So you can enrich the experience with the AR and the data and make it more interesting. Briefly, entertainment. We're working with the Finnish National Opera and Ballet. We're creating this kind of, they have a long history of creating those set designs using paper and sketches, and then just like build those stages in scale, like was 1 to 10, and then they were watching, this is great. But now they're together with us creating a tool where they can have the actual opera stage, main stage, and they go there by themselves, and then together in multiplayer environment they can start designing how the Don Giovanni or any other play will look like from the stage, and maybe adjusting the lights and storing that data and configuration back to the actual light table. So it's kind of it's not only one way, but you can actually get the data back to the lighting setups and stage setups. Keeping my pace. Natasha, this is the one. This is the trickiest and the most fun and challenging project I've seen personally. Paula Vesala was having this big concert last November in Hartwall Arena that takes 50,000 people. And she wanted to have something in there, and together we decided to have a synchronized AR experience while she's playing with the band there. So we created some specific AR content that was full-scale Hartwall Arena, that is like, was like 200 meters that way, 100 meters that way, or 50 that way. And it was synchronized. They used this MIDI background stuff for the lights and backgrounds and stuff. We integrated the AR experience that once you were there somewhere watching the show, the MIDI was actually controlling the content on your phone. And that was very interesting. I'm just thinking if we have time. Yes, we have time for this video. So it's that one. It's really loud, so you can... Yes, and very briefly, the kind of last example of value creating environments is this together with MobilePay and Stockman. We created this kind of this was slush only, that they you can visit with wire headset this kind of very high-end apartment fulfilled with Finnish design, and then you can of course customize the stuff and see it from the different angles. But you also with one click and SMS confirmation, you were able to actually buy those furnitures. And it was actually pretty dangerous because those chairs were cheap. And I had to say for everyone trying that out, hey, make sure that you don't buy, because you really buy. So some people actually they bought it like with purpose, but that chair was like 4,500 years or something like that. So it was, but actually now you don't have to just go somewhere and do stuff. You can actually make people to buy stuff. Okay, so now comes the actual maybe beef of this whole talk. But it's pretty simple actually. So how to figure out from that huge XR horizon of opportunities, what is our stuff, how we do money or value with the XR. So you all start from the different company's strategy. So you take the strategy and see what current objectives and targets and KPIs the company and individuals what they have. And from that point of view, you concentrate on those ones and then start thinking, like, together with those relevant stakeholders, how we could boost those use cases and how we could measure those. And for example, sorry about this ugly slide, but I couldn't make it look better. If this is kind of imaginary organization of your company, and there is like for HR, there's a need for area of improvement, if faster new employee induction phase, or for the board, they need to decrease the travel costs, or for the R&D, most cost-effective product design, etc. Or what's the good one here? Like better efficiency of operations and quality, that kind of stuff. You can easily come up with different kind of solutions, like okay, there needs to be kind of a visual tour for newcomers, of course. And there needs to be a kind of use of virtual meetings for environments, meeting environments for a board, like Glue, for example. Or for the R&D, you start using VR for rapid end-user tests, because you can cheaply and faster to take end-users there and fail fast. You can have the smart classes there, you can have the production and production line instructions and make the quality and all the different processes more consistent. You can have the for the brand, if you need to underline the sustainability, for example, and everybody of course needs to underline that's important. You can have a traveling individual. You can have, if you have operations, for example, Finnair has lots of stuff going on the airport. You can have a kind of situational awareness of stuff and visualizing that for different operational ground. Then for the support, you can have this video feed, like supporting remote assistants for like other side of the world. And with, for example, this 7-Eleven case, you can get people more engaged with your product using AR. So very simple things, but it all comes from the strategy. Focus on those targets and KPIs. And kind of a very simple way to do that is, as I said, that the first study the targets of the company and get those people involved who have those targets in their goals and have those. And then create tons of different ideas how to create that, and try to find examples from the just Googling around or inviting companies as Zoan or any other companies here to facilitate those workshops. And then start to do some sort of a business value evaluation, that what brings best value, and then implement those prototypes. And once it's like you can see it from the database creating value, then start doing the real thing in production. And you can use the service design, the double diamond to do that. As I have like 2 minutes left, I'm really gonna run those next slides. So like XR future trends briefly. Speech recognition is coming hard. We are using this Finnish startup called as Speechly. And we are utilizing that to get rid of those motion controllers that it usually takes the first like a happiness away from the experience if you need to start learning how I use these controllers this time. So you can have a dialogue with the experience using these technologies. And then one case is those coronavirus things. Multi-user environments, they are coming really hard. That they, it's not anymore like standing around alone somewhere. Instead of that, you do social working together with someone, some colleagues or friends around the world. Then cloudification is also coming out. That they, as you know, headsets, for example, that requires lots of GPU processing, and that will be moved to cloud at some point. That you can have larger headsets, and then the computing actually happens in cloud. And then via 5G, the video and audio will be streamed to your headset, and only the SNDL control data is uploaded to the cloud. And then the web AR is changing the retail stuff a lot, so there's no need in the future to install kind of an AR-specific application for this brand and that brand. You can just open up the browser, and then you can point at something, and then that AR starts going on. That's a game changer. So as kind of a summary here, so XR is capable of creating business value, but you need to extract those great use cases from the strategy and focusing, and to test and iterate with real end users, and use data. It must be data-driven, the whole process. Always collect the data, analyze the data. And the hardware itself is here already. It's mature enough. The price range is like this huge. You can pick the most expensive or the cheapest it works. And the future itself brings cloud, web AR, speech, multi-user, for example. And that's about it.
Thank you, Sami. Thank you for also bringing service design and data to the table.
No worries.
Any questions from the audience?
No worries, but I'll be here and come to me and let's talk.
Definitely. Or about, yes, please. Yeah, there's a question. All these awesome examples and real life cases.
So I would like to hear your opinion about the future of XR, in the sense that the B2B way, it's obvious how does it work, and we already have some use cases that are successful to show the added value. But as in the examples that you provided in the entertainment section, how do you see the value added to the B2C section? Like if the customer segment is planned to change to B2C, is it affordable for them to buy the virtual reality headsets, for example, in the future? And how can a business resolve this challenge in the future? Do you have insights for this?
That's a really good question. And I actually yesterday saw a tweet from Lucky Palmer, who's the founder of the Oculus. And he was retweeting some tweet that said that retweeting stuff. But anyway, someone said that without Facebook's money, the B2C side wouldn't be happening currently. So we need big players like Facebook putting lots of money into this B2C, like from the game point of view and the hardware point of view. And we can ride on their backs and having successful B2C business all the time, but that's maybe in form of games and how many people have Oculus gets at their homes. That will still take time. But for example, now the Valve, the game design company, is publishing this Alux, the Half-Life in VR, and that's going to be a game changer, because big houses, big AAA game factories will start producing AAA games for VR. So that hopefully will bring down the kind of barrier that people considering whether they should buy VR headset or not. They will buy that, and then boom, the whole thing will go up. And this year is kind of a key point that now it will happen. The break will happen this year. Thanks.
Yeah, valuable point to consumers. Any other questions? Yes, here in the front. Yeah, there's the microphone for you.
Hey, hi.
Hi.
I'm Erson from Lapland University of Applied Sciences. First of all, thank you very much. I'm very, very glad that I witnessed your speech, because nowadays we can see that the main focus in XR technologies, it's not the technical side anymore, but it's the value.
Yeah,
That's what I really really embrace.
Yeah.
But my question is regarding the data. You mentioned the case of cooperation between Varjo and Volvo. What is the progress? What is the future of data-driven decision in XR technologies? Because that's the game changer, of course, and also the case with Finnair, for example. We are repeating those scenarios, but it still remains the same. It's not data-driven. What is your perspective on that?
Yeah, we're great question, and we are not doing enough because when I joined previous XR company a couple years back, I realized I'm actually from the Nokia and Salmo big data teams. I was there doing concept design for how to utilize the data, and I realized on the XR side that actually we are not doing enough. Data was like unused opportunity, and we who know how to do things with better, we need to still push that and show that you can do relevant stuff for the targeting and whatever we can come up with the data, but that must be used more and more. I don't know if I answered your question, but it's in progress.
And beside the example of Varjo and Volvo, there's no other project that you have done?
Okay, in general. Well, we can start. There are two kind of different analytics that we're like taking care of every time. One is the basic usage data collection, that how many people are using the experience currently, etc. But another one is kind of experience specific that they we might start collecting the heat map data or something else and then utilize. But it's always like a experience specific analytics you need to build. But what we are actually trying to figure out here. But actually making sure the Volvo case wasn't ours, it was an extra use case from Volvo and Varjo.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Conversation to continue during the break. Thank you for the first keynote, Sami Heinonen.